Hey guys, so for today's video I am doing a review and demo on the new CoverFX custom enhancer drops. Yeah, custom enhancer drops. I almost said custom cover drops, but that's a foundation. Ever since these have launched, it's like everyone is hyping over them. Let me tell you guys, it is well hyped. These are absolutely beautiful. So beautiful that I had to give it its own dedicated review and demo. If you follow me on Instagram, I actually posted a photo of all 6 shades. Yeah, 6 shades. And I also posted some swatches. So you guys can check out some swatches there, but I'm also going to give you swatches in this video, a demo, and how I like to apply it, and kind of my thoughts on them. So all of the boring but yet important stuff is going to be listed down below, like the price, where you can purchase. I'll leave a link for purchase as well. So all of that good stuff will be linked down below so that we can get right into the fun stuff and talking about my thoughts on these. So these are the CoverFX Custom Enhancer Drops, and basically these are liquid highlighters and liquid bronzers. They came out with 4 highlighting shades that are super intense and give you a extreme highlighted look, and then they also gave you 2 bronzers. Now I'm going to share my thoughts on the highlighting shades and also the bronzer shades because my thoughts kind of differ with the two. So first, let's talk about these highlighters. Oh my god, these highlighters right here are not for the shy. They are for the bold and blingin'. Like, you don't want these highlighters if you like a natural glow. This is if you want a super intense wet highlight. Like, if you want to look like you just literally got out of the ocean and your face is sparkling, you gotta get this. So a lot of the times we'll take a powder highlighter and wet it, and that looks amazing. Now just picture an actual wet highlight, like a literal liquid wet highlight. This is literally what that is. It's a wet liquid highlighter in a bottle. God, they're so amazing. They look so beautiful on the skin. Like, you guys can just see how intense that is. I'm pretty sure my highlight is speaking to Pluto at this point. It's literally so intense you could see it from miles and miles away. I'm also obsessed with the formula of these. They're perfect for dry skin and oily skin. If you have oily skin, then you want to set it with powder like I do. If you have dry skin, these would probably work for you without even setting it because they do dry down. I still have the swatches on my arm here. They do dry down, as you can see, but then they'll have just a little bit of transfer. So if you have dry skin, these will be perfect even without setting it. These can be used in so many different ways. You can use them as a liquid blingin' eyeshadow. You can use them obviously on the cheekbones and to kind of highlight your face. You can use them to mix in with your foundation. So let's talk a little bit about the formula of these. Like I said, they're super liquidy. I mean, they're a full-on liquid. It comes in this really nice serum bottle. You just squeeze the top and then the liquid falls out. As you can see, it runs down the skin. So it isn't extremely runny, but it definitely will run down. So it is a full-on liquid. And when you go ahead and blend it out, I mean, like, hello. So intense. And this particular shade is the shade Sunlight. I think the reason why these highlighting drops are so highly hyped is because a lot of the makeup companies come out with liquid highlighters, but they're more of like a cream liquid. These CoverFX Custom Enhancer Drops are actual liquid highlighters. So they're kind of a new concept to highlighting almost, and I feel like they're just something different and also something that I think a lot of us have been craving because, like I said before, oftentimes we highlight with the powder, but we wet the brush first. So CoverFX literally gave us an actual wet highlight on its own. I want to go ahead and talk about the shades that they come in a little bit now, and then we'll kind of get into how I like to apply these. So like I said, they're broken into 4 highlighter shades and 2 bronzing shades. The first highlighting shade is Celestial. Celestial is literally so perfect for that girl who has super fair, pale skin and can't get that highlighted effect. This will give you it because it's super high in that sheen, and it's very light. It's the first one right there, and it's more of like a, I would say, a perfect pearl, a nice cool tone pearl shade. The second lightest shade is Moonlight. Moonlight is probably going to be one of the most popular shades just because it's that classic champagne. It reminds me a lot of Opal. It's a really pretty kind of cool champagne shade. I mean, champagne is the perfect way to describe it. This shade is gonna look good on anyone from light skin to even medium skin. And then the next shade we have is Sunlight, which is my personal favorite. It's a really beautiful kind of light gold. Moonlight and Sunlight look really similar, and a lot of people might be like, oh my god, wait, which one do I buy? They look so similar. But I will tell you right now, the difference between the two is Moonlight, again, is more of a champagne, whereas Sunlight definitely has a little bit more of that gold sheen going on. But I do wish that they made the two more different. I feel like they are very similar. I wish that they made Sunlight a tad bit darker and a tad bit more gold, but Sunlight is beautiful, and it's definitely my first pick for someone of my skin tone. So if you're a kind of medium skin tone, like an NC, I'm an NC 37 in MAC, so I prefer Sunlight for my skin tone. So again, Sunlight is going to be perfect for anyone of medium skin tone. And then the last highlighting shade is Candlelight. I am so happy that they came out with this shade because this is the perfect shade for deeper skin tones. A lot of the times I feel like makeup brands forget to include highlighting powders for deeper skin tones. So I love that CoverFX included this beautiful, deep, bronzy, coppery type of shade. It's so gorgeous. I actually like also mixing Sunlight and Candlelight together, and I can also pull that shade off. But I definitely can't pull off Candlelight just on its own because it is a tad bit too dark. I'm looking down a lot just because I'm looking at the swatches on my hand, by the way. But the next two shades, I feel like the bronzer shade needs one more shade because they only came out with two. One shade is really perfect for pale skin tones. That is the shade Sun Kissed. So Sun Kissed is actually a really perfect contour shade as well. It's a really pretty light, cool tone, kind of gray undertone shade. So it's perfect for contouring, but also perfect for anyone with really pale or light skin. If you are my skin tone though, Sun Kissed is going to be way too like ashy on you. It's gonna be a little bit too pinky mauvey cool tone, you know what I mean? So you're gonna wanna go for the next bronzer shade, which is Sunset. And Sunset is a beautiful, again, I'm looking down, it looks so weird. Sunset right here, it's just a beautiful, warm but not too warm. It's still like a neutral warm, let's say. So it's still good enough that it can contour the cheeks, which is what I use today. But I wish that they came out with a third bronzer shade for deeper skin tones, because this shade right here, Sunset, is perfect for kind of medium skin tone. But I will say if you do have deeper skin, none of the bronzer shades will work for you, unfortunately, which I think super sucks. The finish isn't completely matte, but it's also not shimmery or sheen at all. It's just a really healthy finish. I'm not as stoked about the bronzers as I am about the highlighters. For some reason, the bronzer on me personally, it's a little bit too natural looking. I just find it looks a tad bit too natural, tad bit too sheer on the skin. The bronzer shades might be good just for more of a healthy, no makeup look, but I'm not crazy about them, I gotta say that. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with the bronzer shades too. If you do like natural products and you like more sheer, natural look, you will love the bronzers because they do give you the liquidness of them, give you a really nice sheared out natural effect. And the bronzers also do dry down with very little transfer, but they do still transfer because I've had them on my hand for like an hour now and they transferred a little bit. So you do kind of want to set it a little bit, but again, if you have dry skin, you might not even need to set it. So when it comes to how I like to apply them and wear them, I'm gonna roll the demo clips over while I am telling you guys. Let's start off with the bronzing. I like to just go ahead and take my Sigma Large Dual Fiber brush. It's the bronzer brush I use with every single bronzer, and it works really well with these liquid bronzers because the dual fiberness really helps to blend it out nicely. You can also use a beauty blender though. I like to just go ahead, put it on the back of my hand, dip in my brush, and just start applying it as if I would a powder bronzer, and then I will go ahead and set it with a powder bronzer because I do have oily skin. Now onto the highlighting shades, which is why everyone's watching this video, right? Am I right? So I like to just go ahead and take my Morphe E20 brush. This is my favorite brush to apply this product. I just like how precise it is, but it's also dense enough to really pack on the pigmentation. So I like to just go ahead, pop it on the brush, and then I will blend it out on the brush with my finger just to make sure the product is evenly distributed. And then I will just go ahead and pop it on the tops of my cheekbones, down the center of my face, anywhere that I really want to highlight. I do like to then go ahead and take a damp beauty blender. Make sure it's damp because it really gets that extra wet effect. And then I will just go ahead and lightly blend it out a little bit. And then I will always set it with a powder highlight. Here I am taking Champagne Pop by Becca and Jaclyn Hill. So I think that that pretty much covers everything I have to say about these. I hope that I gave you guys some good in-depth information. I hope I helped you find what shade might work for you by describing them and kind of saying what skin tone they would work for. Like, thumbs up this video for more demos and review videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.